Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed my cover of How to Survive by Of Mice and Men. This song's a lot of fun and really great for the intermediate level drummers. The reason why I say that is because the drumming level, sort of the foundation of the song, although it's kind of fast and can look a little bit intimidating on the surface, it really just is a compilation of a lot of simple fills and patterns. There's nothing really too crazy going on with this track, nothing to be intimidated by. We're gonna have you learning it here in no time. So what you need to know. This song is at 200 beats per minute, and it is in the time signature of 4/4, and there's no changes. It's 200 and 4/4 all the way through. For this lesson video, I will be performing each section at 200 beats per minute, and then I will go back through at 150 beats per minute. The first section we're gonna get into is, of course, the intro of the song. One thing I'm gonna mention before I start the performances, before I start the demonstrations, just as I did with my last cover, Low by Wage War, I did take the original song, the original drums, and I complicated them a little bit. I didn't actually change any of the writing. What I'm going to be teaching you, essentially, like all the kicks are in the same place, all the snares, there's no fills added. I just sort of put shots in different places, like I added some cymbal hits here and there, just to sort of add my own take on it and take it up a little bit from the original piece. So my version, the cover version, the version you probably saw before coming to this video, that's what I'll be teaching you here today. All right, so let's get started. Here it is, the intro, performed for you now. After the intro, we're gonna go into the first verse. When I sit down to learn certain songs, I can tell right away, sometimes it's even just by listening to it, I can tell whether the drums were sort of written in MIDI or whether they were live tracked in a studio. Now, putting aside just the tonality of the cymbals and the shells, just putting that aside, because that's an obvious, giveaway right away. Like if you listen to a really well-recorded set of live drums, in my opinion, it always sounds a bit better, more natural than MIDI drums are gonna sound, of course. But just putting aside the tonality, the phrasing is a dead giveaway for me most of the time, because when I come to a song and it is written in MIDI, I can tell just because of the amount of copy and pasting going on. This song was very clearly tracked with live drums in a studio, and I say that just because each verse has things that the drummer added that's sort of unique to himself. And because of that, just pay very close attention to what's going on with the kick patterns, what's going on with the fills as we go through. No two sections are exactly the same. It's a very organic feeling progression in the song. And with all that being said, let's get into verse number 1. Here we go. So verse number 1 performed for you now. Next, I'm going to perform the pre-chorus real quick. Here we go. I'm not slowing it down, just once through. Here it is now. After the pre-chorus, of course, we come to the chorus. So there are 3 choruses in the song. The length of all 3 choruses, I believe, is the same. The transitions are in the same places, like the fills are in the same places as one another. However, the fills definitely are different from one another with each pass. As I mentioned a second ago, no 2 pieces are really the same here. So here we go, chorus 1, perform now. Coming off of chorus 1, we're gonna go back into the intro. It's half as long as the original intro at the beginning of the song. They just took the intro and pasted it here as a post-chorus. It is a slightly different, wait, is it? It's slightly different just because of the transition out. Because it's half the time as the first pass of this section. They did just use a different fill to get you out, so once you learn that fill, you pretty much have this section down. Here we go with post-chorus 1 now. After post-chorus 1, we're gonna come to verse number 2. Now, verse number 2 has slight variations, so just pay close attention to what's going on. The fills are a little bit different, the kick pattern changes a little bit, but it's very similar to 1, so it's easy to just kind of play the first verse and it fit over top of the second verse, but it's not exactly the same. So if you want it note for note exactly what's going on, pay close attention and just change up those couple fills that are different, and you've got it. So here's verse number 2 now. Pre-chorus 2, you guessed it. Next, we come to chorus 2. Chorus 2, as I mentioned earlier, I'm repeating myself at this point, but the same length, just slight change up in fills, a little bit of a variation here and there. Pay close attention to that, and you've got it. Here is chorus 2. Perform now. Now, the next section we're going to come to is the bridge. The bridge is broken up into 3 subsections, and we'll go through each one of those individually. The first part of the bridge that we're going to talk about is the buildup. So the bridge was broken into 3 sections, as I mentioned: the buildup, the breakdown, and the guitar solo. First, we'll talk about the buildup. Buildup's really straightforward. There's a very cool fill in the middle of it, and then kind of more of a generic transition fill at the end of it to take you out. You'll learn those fills and you pretty much got it down. This section, as well as other parts to the song, but especially in this section, I did utilize that scuff technique that I broke down for you in my first episode of feet. If you're unfamiliar with scuffs and you would like to learn what I'm talking about to better help you get your kick, your double kick up to speed for this section, there's a link in the description of this video to feet episode 1, and that'll break down scuffs for you. And that's the technique I'm using for the quad groups, so the groups of 4 that are 32s or 16s, just depending on what you have your clicks set to, but for us it's 16th notes. So here it is, the build up in the bridge now. The The next section we come to is the middle section, the second section of the bridge. This section is really cool. It's the breakdown in the song. It's the same length. So in the bridge, all three sections, the first section, the build-up, the middle section, the breakdown, and the last section, the guitar solo, all three of those are the same length. The cool thing about this breakdown is that there's a rest on 1, and then the snare comes in on 3. 1, 2, yeah, the snare comes in on 3. So just pay attention to that. Very cool. For the demonstration, you're gonna hear like, it's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then we come in. So just note that, no big deal. Other than that, there's nothing really crazy going on. Oh, I liked in the middle where they did like a flam on the snare, flam on 2 toms, flam on floor toms. So blah, 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 that was kind of cool. So those are flams, just make sure to flam that. Here is the breakdown in the center of the bridge now. All right, now the third section, the third subsection of the bridge is the guitar solo. This part's pretty cool. I just got this this new cymbal here. It's very dry compared to my old crash rides. I'm in the process of switching all my cymbals over to Meinl. I tried this guy. I don't really like it just because it doesn't have enough attack for me. Although I'm gonna sort of work it into my kit in different ways. I just am not used to just how dry this guy is. So because of that, it was very difficult to get like the ping tone. So what I did was I just used the stick. You mostly use like the top of the stick, the tip as much as possible, and I played off of the bell. That's how I got the sound. If you have a ride cymbal, you can play it at any part of the ride. You don't have to accent on the bell the entire time like I'm doing. So just note that for the demonstration, that's the reason why. I think when I come to actually editing the audio for this video, I will probably just put in a sample of one of my older crash rides over top of it, maybe just mixed underneath, just to bring out the tonality of more attack so that it's more apparent for you guys. But with all that being said, here is that section now. Here is the guitar solo. After the guitar solo, a very simple, quick section. This is pre-chorus 3, technically. So it's the same as the other two pre-choruses. We're just gonna add some stuff on the kick. And the first half of it, it's double the length of the other pre-choruses because the first half of it is just some floor tom, snare, accents, no big deal. So here we go with pre-chorus 3 now, and we're almost done the song. So here it is now. Coming off the third pre-chorus, we go into chorus 3 and we are done the song after this. So chorus 3 is the same length as the others. However, there is a little addition to the end of the section that is like the outro. It's very, very short and quick. It's technically the groove from the intro, but only I think 2 bars of it, or 4 bars depending on what you have your metronome set to, but I think it's only like 2 or 4 bars or so. So pretty quick, comes and goes and the song's done. The center fill for chorus 3 is the same as the center fill for chorus 1, and then the outro fill that takes you into the actual outro section, that fill is a little bit different. It's actually simpler. It's just a hi-hat snare twice with a kick, and then one more, and then 2 on the snare, and then up to a crash, and then into the last section, and you're out. So here we go. Chorus 3 now, and you're done the song. So that's it, you are done the song. Congratulations on learning How to Survive by Of Mice and Men. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Thank you so much for checking out the cover. These videos do take an enormous amount of time to put together. They take, like, if a cover takes 3 hours to edit, this is like closer to 12 kind of thing. So, and the thing about my lesson videos is I don't have a problem with helping you guys out. I absolutely love to do it. I love getting feedback from you, and the reason why I am the drummer that I am today is because of watching other drummers on YouTube, watching lessons on YouTube, so this is really my way of giving back to you. That being said though, these videos, because they get so few views, they don't really generate me any revenue, and they take so much time out of my week to put together. No complaints there whatsoever. The only thing I ask is, if you enjoy these videos, if you've watched like a few lesson videos and it's really helping you put some songs together, maybe consider checking out my merch store, picking up a t-shirt or so, just helping support the channel. It would mean the world, and it really helps me to continue to make sure that I can do these lesson videos going forward. So with all of that being said, thanks again. If you want to connect with me further, you can do so. Links on the screen and in the description, and I will see you guys very soon with something new.